This is a video showing a different approach to the QDR rotational press up. Often it's treated as a strength move and people start with doing this kind of thing and they get exhausted pretty quickly and hit a brick wall or don't enjoy the move, or like me, aggravate an old shoulder injury when they're doing it. So this is a different way of approaching it, and we're going to approach it from the ground. And most people won't be remotely interested in this video, and if you're interested in doing lots of sets and reps and growing big muscles, it's not for you. Just go somewhere else. It'll just bore you and you'll annoy me by asking silly things. But what's really useful is to build it for the ground up and focus on sensitivity of your body, enjoying yourself, and finding the edge where things stop working and pulling jack just a little so as you can observe where in your body tension is stopping you from moving. So we'll start. So I'm going to sugar my way down to the ground as comfortably as possible. And you'll notice there's this kind of a rotation. My elbow's drawing a circle here. And it's the same with the other one. And when I get to about there, it feels like it wouldn't be nice to go further. So I'm going to walk my hands until I can find my elbows in the ground. And I'm going to take this as my starting position. Now, there's no right or wrong positions, and for me, these shoulder blades sticking out at the moment, perfectly comfortable. And that's going to give me the opportunity to notice what happens when I take this leg and rotate it out. Once it gets to about here, I need to push it, and it starts to lift the opposite hip. So I'm going to find that turning point. So the knee goes down, starting to take a bit of effort. Now traditionally we'd brace our whole body and force it down, try to keep a line in a straight line. I don't know why people want to train like that all the time. It will grow muscles, but where it has an impact on your functional strength, I'm not so sure. So take it to that point and then let the hip rise, and that'll take the other leg. And then go back to the centre, pause and reflect, adjust, make sure you feel nice, let the other leg fall. And again, you can see it's starting to turn my pelvis. Follow your breathing. Now, at this point, that's pretty awkward. And I don't want it to be awkward, so I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to help you pushing a little. And that'll get my knee down to the ground. Then I'm going to relax down. Gentle push. I'm going to play with that for a bit. So what I'm working on is awareness of what the minimum amount of strength I need to encourage and permit rotation is. Play about with that. Find your way all the way to the ground. I feel a wee stretch here, so I will. Now that's interesting. So I've got my hands gently clasped, I'm reaching behind me, and at a certain point, I'll take my knee, and it goes, and you'll see my head going this way as my knee goes that way. And that's because in order for my body to feel good, I've got this massive base of support from my buttocks to my shoulders. I've got my head and neck above the ground, But even with that, just the weight of my leg going to the side necessitates that my head, acting as a counterbalance, go the other way. Right. So I've warmed up my awareness as to how to rotate, and how rotating can feel nice. Once I've done that, and I've spent time at it, I'm going to gently lift my pelvis, and in this kind of very gentle bridge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to walk on my shoulders and my feet inwards. And I think I'll put my hands here just so I can feel it. And I'm going to use if you do any quadrupedal walking movements, you'll know the pattern. So it's going to be in with my foot, in with the opposite shoulder. And you'll notice that that's quite a gross movement, quite a lot of rotation. In with my other leg, in with my shoulder. In with my leg, in with my shoulder, in with my leg, in with my shoulder. At a certain point, it's kind of hard to walk your feet. So you just try and smoothly keep walking with your shoulders. You get into a position like this, and it feels quite nice. And if it starts to feel bad, try and walk slowly out of it with control, staying relaxed. At the point where your feet can take part again, you let them. And there's an awful lot. So when we're using our hand and we're pushing, it really wants to rotate. And that's happening with the whole of my back now. You can walk quite freely, and speak and enjoy it. And when you get to the position that seems extreme, if you go out of it with control and pause and reflect, your body won't be afraid to go back there again because you haven't taught it that it's horrible. And if you try and go straight to an extreme position in a straight line, if there's an obstacle, you try and go through it, it's not going to work. But look, you can rotate out of it. And you can do that with the restrictions in your own body, because a lot of the restrictions are mental constructs that make you believe that you have to move in a certain way and that you have to apply force to overcome the restriction. Whereas in fact, you can just sidle past it. So that's what we're learning to do, to accept that doing things well feels nice and not horrible. And we can get to all sorts of interesting places, enjoy ourselves when they're there. Now I'm going to start looking at how I'm going to use my arms to turn over. From this bridge, I'm not going to go too deep at the moment. I'm going to take my arms, stretch them out, and then glide them in an arc until they make contact with the side of my body. And that's using quite a lot of strength, but it feels really nice. And you'll see it gives quite a homogeneous curve through my body. Do that one more time. Stretching, making an arc, draw my elbows to my rib cage, going as far as I can comfortably go, and I mean comfortably, and I get to there. So just do that a few times. And what you'll notice is, as I apply pressure here with my arms, the bridge itself deepens, because I'm doing it with my whole body, because I've been quite conscious of making this a whole body activity, rather than fetishising what I imagine is important, which would be the arm strength to hold the QDR in the end. When I get to here, I'm going to allow this rotation to happen. And I'm making this curve here, on this side of my body. So this arch is this kind of shape, and the other side of my body is actually getting a wee stretch. So it's like this. And what I'm aiming for is to take my elbow, once it's found my rib cage, and get it close to my hip. In fact, grazing all the way along until it gets to my hip. Stretch out, do it on the other side, find my hip. Now, ideally, you'd spend a couple of weeks in this as a little treat for yourself, as a way of deloading after doing some hard work if you do a lot of physical training. Because if you jump to the next bit, you've probably missed all of the opportunity to teach your subconscious to do things nicely instead of slavishly. Now I'll show you the next bit. Gentle shoulder bridge. Come in with a little strength. Take this hand and gently touch my fingers on the ground. And as I do that, keep going until I can gently touch the tip of my fingers on the ground. Take a wee break, reflect, move powerfully into a bridge, do it on the other side. Turn my body until I can get this hand, place my fingers on the ground. And at that point, my elbow's in contact with my hip. I place this hand in the ground. And what I want to do is allow my body to move, my pelvis to move. If I show you for this side, my pelvis doesn't stay in a straight line. It gets out of the way, so as my centre of gravity stays over the centre of the arch formed between my buttocks, or between my feet and my shoulders. And if I try to stay braced in a central position, I might force my body to grow muscles. I'll always be clumsy. And it's really bloody minded because there's an easy way that will unlock other movements and you won't get injured. So to look for where the displacement in my hips goes. So gentle bridge, get some strength, reach for my hip, place my hand, start to reach my body out, and then my head lifts, and I'm perfectly comfortable here. Stay here for a little time, breathe evenly, don't collapse out of it, retrace your steps, gently find the ground with my head, rotate it, that brings my shoulder down, I can come off. Have a wee stretch, do the other side. Find the position that's supposed to be horrible, stay there, it's nice, come out of it. Now, if you follow the procedures and take the time, then at the point where you want to attempt a full move, it should feel really nice. And you should be able to be conversational and relaxed as you gently enter the position, calmly walk your way through, find this point and come over. I've been doing this as what you might call hair of the dog that bit you, because I've been clumsy and using strength. And you tend to aggravate your shoulders by doing movements with too much strength and not enough awareness. And usually the reason for that is that you're learning movements under load. So You know, like you want to learn a muscle up transition. Maybe you're a big, strong guy. You've been doing like lots of sort of strength training for a long time, and you've got enough strength to horse on through, and you don't notice that your body really dislikes it because you've trained not to notice until someone tells you you've got something with shoulder impingement. At which point you can try and fix the particular muscles which are causing the problem, except that's not really true. What's causing the problem is that you're trying to do something that you shouldn't. You're forcing your body to do things in a way which is contrary to its natural smoothness of operation. So that's my tip for having fun and enjoying being able to enter these kinds of positions and have fun with them. And of course, I'm not actually particularly good at this. Lots of people do it very well, and you can scamper around and all sorts of different things. And good luck to them.